Alright, we are back. I am going to show you what to do when you get a printer from me. First thing you're going to want to do is you do not want to plug the printer into your computer just yet. You want to go on your computer, and every computer that you're going to use this printer on, you need to install this. You're going to go to epson.com, and once you're there, whoopsie, you're going to go up here to support, go under printers, and then I'm going to search for your product name. This is a 7710, so 7710. Right there, Workforce 7710. I'm going to select that. Now, I run Windows 10. Otherwise, you would choose whatever operating system that you run right there. If you don't know if you're 64-bit or 32-bit, it's in your computer information under your control panel. So I'll show you real quick. Here. System. Under System. You look right here and it'll tell you which operating system right there. So I run Windows 10 64-bit. So make sure you choose the one that matches your computer. Now from here, you do not want to install this one, the firmware. That's the whole point of putting chipless firmware on it, is to not have any firmware updates or not have to deal with cartridges. For one that doesn't have chipless firmware, if you do firmware updates, Epson's making it so that they're trying to block the use of third-party cartridges. So each firmware update may have code that's going to cause your cartridges to no longer work. They may work one time, and when they get to empty, they may not work again. So you only want the drivers and utilities. So right here, they have a combo that's the drivers and utilities. So from there, you're just going to click download. And then once that downloads, it'll come up here on the bottom. You would show in folder. From that, I've probably deleted, because I don't want to install it because I already have it installed. We'll do it just so you can see. Alright, download. And it's done. Go to the folder. And it's not a zip file or anything. You don't have to extract it. So from that, you would just double click it. Go in here. Yes, you want to set up the drivers. Yes, continue. Let it run through. And you're going to accept. You only want drivers and utilities. Allow your firewall to unblock it. If you need the user's guide, it's right there. And if you want the customer research, or you want to disable this one. So you only want to have checked the drivers and utilities, allow firewall to unblock, and the user guide if you need it. I don't, so I'm going to uncheck that. And then we're just going to install. And once that is installed, you'll hit next. And right now, we're going to do a direct USB connection because I have a cord, or let me see. I'm going to do it wireless just so you can see. Okay, we're just going to do a wireless. And I already have my my network's already set up. I can't remember if I already connected this one, but we're going to do it as if we haven't. So we're going to say we're setting up the printer for the first time. Next, we're going to do it using the printer's control panel. Next, and make sure you know your password and your wireless network name. So from here, Let me move the camera so you can see the actual printer. See if I can pull this out of here. Okay, printer is not currently on, so when you get printer, let me reposition this. All right, so what we'll do here is we're going to turn printer on. And let it boot up. Okay, we are running chipless firmware in here, so this is what you're going to do when you get the printer from me. You've got the drivers installed on the laptop. Now we're going to be connecting it to the internet. So you would go into settings, you would go to, I think it's under general, network, and you're going to click up to Wi-Fi. And I have a router, so I connect through my router. And what you'll do from there is you'll use the wizard. There's a little wizard, and you can just right here, Wi-Fi wizard. It'll search for a network. That's my network. I want that one, and then I would enter in my password. So let me enter that in. Okay, I paused it while I entered in my password, and then once my password is in, I hit start setup. So now it's going to connect to the wireless network. I do suggest using the printer wired. You get much better connection and print results using it wired than Wi-Fi, but if you absolutely have to use it Wi-Fi, it's fine. You probably wouldn't know the difference if you didn't have them to compare to. So Wi-Fi is complete. Okay, we're just going to say okay and go back to the home. Now, when you receive a printer from me, this is how it's going to come. I tried not to remove too much tape, so you still see it's kind of like getting a new printer. You're just going to open up the top. You don't need to worry about initiating a cartridge change because this is set up chipless, so it's not detecting anything. What you're going to do here, let me turn that. Okay, these are your fill holes. These are your vents. These vents need to be open. When you receive from me, your vents are going to be sealed. Sometimes, say you buy another set of cartridges, sometimes they come with the plugs reversed. So what you'll do is just pull out the colored ones, put them in the fill hole, keep the vent ones open. Your vent is always going to be the one furthest away from the chip. Your fill is going to be the one closest to the chip. So all you're going to do here is pop these out. You do not want to get rid of them because you are going to need them if you ever run these cartridges out of ink and need to reprime, which you don't want to do if you can avoid it. As long as you keep it from running out of ink, it won't lose its prime. Alright, so now our vents are open, we're ready to go, our fill plugs are in. We'll go ahead and we will close this. And all you're going to do is you're going to go here to maintenance. And you're going to do a print head cleaning. All colors. I recommend this anytime after it's been in transit or you've moved it or anything like that. And if you are going to move it, pop those plugs in just to be safe. And it's running a head cleaning. It takes a couple minutes to go through the process. So in the meantime, let me show you the paper tray here. So your paper tray is down here. I like 7710 over the 7720. It's one paper tray, one thing to worry about. If you're using the proper settings, you'll never use the second paper tray on a 7720 anyways. So let's see if we can get this a little brighter so you can see. Hey! Okay, paper tray. Pull this out, and right now it's set for 8.5 by 11 paper. This paper tray will hold up to 13 by 19 inside the tray. A lot of people don't realize that, and they rear feed it because they think it doesn't fit. This tray expands. It has 2 positions beyond this one. So it has position for 11 by 17, and then it has a further one for 13 by 19. So what you would do to expand the tray, let me set it up here, and let me put this in the holder here. Let's see if it doesn't fall on me because of my broken phone mount. Okay, paper tray. I'm just going to pop this out of here. You can see. As you can see right here, there's actually a little diagram showing you the paper settings and how to expand the tray. It shows you right here that there's a release tab and that it slides out for A2 and A3, or for A3 and A3 plus. So right here is the tab. So you would grab that and slide the 2 pieces apart. Now the first position it locks in is right there. That right there will give you 11 by 17 paper. It won't give you 13 by 19, but it'll give you 11 by 17. And then you would slide these side trays, these side guides out with the little tab. To do 13 by 19, you grab the pull tab again, pull it the rest of the way. Once it's out the rest of the way, these tabs slide out that extra little notch, and then the 13 by 19 lays flat in there. It will expand out from the front of the printer. The tray will. It won't push completely in, but it will lay flat in here in the tray. There's a dust guard for this as well, but I find it's more of a hassle. I like just loading my tray up with 13 by 19 and just forgetting about it. And without the dust tray on there, I can just slide more paper in there without even having to pull out the paper tray. The other thing you want to make note of, let me go ahead and put this back to normal size. Right here, you'll see an arrow and a notch. Make sure your paper does not extend past that notch. If you do, it's going to pull multiple sheets of paper. You're going to get paper jam issues, and you want to keep it back. So when it's properly loaded in the tray, this guide will be locked at its proper measurement, and that's where you want your paper to sit back against this. So don't put your paper in and then push it forward as far as it'll go. Keep your paper back. So like this. It's all the way back. Let's bring these in, and as you can see, this brings it right to the front of the arrow. So with that, then we will pop it back into place, and you want to make sure it latches in. You may have to give it a good push and make sure. So let me go ahead, and now that the head cleaning's done, all right, it's going to ask you if you want to perform a nozzle check. You're going to say yes. So the next page will say load paper in and hit start to print. So paper's already in there. Hit start. And we have a printed nozzle check. And this is what a good nozzle check looks like. As long as you have properly purged cartridges like I showed you, this is what it should always look like. If you start to get breaks in the line, it's usually caused by air in the cartridge or a dirty bottom of the print head. I'll upload some other videos showing how to deal with those issues as they arise. Right here at the top, you can also see that's your firmware. So just if you ever do a nozzle check, just double check up there that your firmware is still the FA24i5. And that's your chipless firmware. So from here, your printer is ready to use. It's already got Sublimation ink running in it, and it's good to go. Now on the computer, there are a couple settings that you will need to change when printing. Let's see if we can do this again. I'll make some new videos once I get a new phone mount. Someone grabbed my tripod to use it, and they tried to force their phone into it and ended up breaking my mount, so yeah. Kind of like using Mom's good scissors on paper. So we've got the firmware disabled in the printer. We've got chipless firmware. The sublimation cartridges are in place. We have a good nozzle check. And now I'm going to show you your print settings in order to get the best results. Oh, we're still on this. Okay, still connecting the printer to the network. I forgot. The printer itself is on the network. Now we need to get the computer to see it. So from there, you click next, next, next. It's already connected. So we can now click the printer is connected to my network. Now it's going to look for the printer. And I have a couple of 7710s hooked up, so it's just a matter of it finding the correct one. Let me close this. And this is where this will pop up and ask you if you want it to check for automatic updates. You do not want it to check for automatic updates, because if it does, it's going to overwrite the firmware and you're not going to be chipless. So you're going to disable automatic checking permanently. All right, now I'm going to select the printer. This one is, let's see, because I have two that are currently turned on right now. So let me see what my MAC address is on here. No. Status. I'm just trying to figure out which one's the correct printer. Okay, I've got it figured out. It is this one. I had to print the status sheet to get the MAC address for this printer. So it is this one. And we're going to click next. It is currently communicating with the printer. Once I install them on my computer for use, I rename them so that I know what printer is what, because I run about 16 printers myself. And once this is installed, then it will be able to communicate and we can send something to it. All right, and we can print a test page, but there's really no need for me to do so, but go ahead and hit print a test page and it'll give you a status page and let you know that it's communicating with that. So I'm just going to click next. We do not want to set up a fax, and it is checking for updated firmware, which let it check but deny it. It's an automatic thing that it's trying to do. New firmware is available. Do you want to update it? No, you do not. So hit next. And now the printer is on your system. So from there, I use a few different design programs myself, but I'm just going to open up Adobe Illustrator to show you. Illustrator gives me the best results color-wise. I can print the same exact file in Adobe Illustrator, Silhouette, or Inkscape, and I get 3 totally different print results. So AI supports color profiles, and it just has very good color support. It's a program that's intended for graphic design and printing. Inkscape's okay. The colors are a little dull, a little off, but there's some printing workarounds that you have to do in order to print the 13 by 19 or anything bigger than letter size. Alright, Adobe Illustrator is open. So right now we're just going to go here, and I'm going to open up, let me just pull up something to print. What do I got up here? Still going through the setup process in the background. So. Oh, why I have Hewlett Packard. Alright, product registration, we're not going to register it, so I'm just closing. Alright, we don't want to do Google Cloud Print, or at least I don't. Then apps and email print. That's good if you go out of town or something, but it's really not necessary, so I'm going to skip that. Software is complete. Finish. Alright, so now I am going to just open up something here to print for you. And this is going to be something that you'll want to print. This is RGB color chart. You want to print this and press this onto a scrap piece of polyester fabric. That way you can get a feel for your colors. And this is sized right here to fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. What you want to do with that though is you want to mirror that. So object, there, edit, object, we are going to transform, and we're going to reflect, and being this one is flipped differently, and I want to turn it 180 degrees. So now we've got a mirrored file, and from there, here's going to hit File, Print, and right here is where you will want to choose your printer. And I'm going to show you in the next window how to double check that that's the correct printer. From there, you're going to go here to Setup, because you want to go into your actual print settings. I'm going to continue, and it's going to take you to this screen. And each of these is your printers. Like I said, I have a few. So we want to make sure that I am using the correct printer. This one is ready. Let's see, properties. Don't know which one this is. Let's see. I'm assuming this is the right one. Alright, so from there, you're going to click on Preferences. It'll take you into the printer. From there, you're going to make sure that your paper source is cassette. And you're going to choose your paper size right here. So 8.5 by 11, legal, tabloid, or Super B. So right now we have 8.5 by 11 in here. So we're just going to do letter size. And then from there, you want to change this from plain paper. You want to change this to photo paper glossy, not premium, just glossy. Then leave this in standard. Leave everything else as it is. Go up here to more options and click on custom under color correction, then advanced, and then color controls, which will open up this screen. Right here on this drop down, you want to drop down and select Adobe RGB or whatever RGB is on the list. If you don't choose that, your colors are going to be really off. So you can say OK. You're going to come back here, you're going to disable high speed, and you're going to go back to this main screen again. And what you can do now that you've entered all that, you can hit add. These are the settings, they're all saved. You can name this 8.5 by 11 default, so that the next time you need to print something that size, you just select that and it's ready to go. So we will say save, close, and now you'll see in here 8.5 by 11 default. I have my own setup in here as well. So I have different settings because I have a bunch of different printers. So I just usually name them like 8.5 by 11 sublimation, 11 by 17 sublimation, 13 by 19 sublimation, and all my settings are already set in there. So the next time you come in here, you just click on 8.5 by 11 default, hit OK, hit print. It'll take you back to this screen, and now from here, you just hit print. If I chose the right printer, it will print. If not, it's going to print on another printer that's in my house. It says pending, so we will see. Hey, we picked the right printer. Alright, now this is telling me there's a paper size mismatch because I have this preset for 13 by 19 right now. So if you ever get this issue, it comes up mismatched paper there, you're just gonna hit done and it'll come up and it will give you what paper it's currently set to and then the specified print settings. Right now I have this set to print glossy, so we're going to choose the specified print settings because that's what we've told the printer or the computer to tell the printer to do. And that'll come up, confirm, and hit print. So now it's going to print out that color chart. And it'll pop up on the screen too, but once you set it in here, it'll disappear on the screen. So we will sit here and we will wait for it to come out. And then what you can do, as far as, like I said, keeping the cartridges topped off, the way I have it set up, you can pull them out without the printer even knowing they've been out. or you can fill them in place, which that's a little risky because if you spill ink or anything down around it, that's a mess to clean up. So you would just pop them out and just top them up a little bit. So I usually do that if I know I've printed a lot of stuff in one day. I'll top them up after I've finished my printing for the day, or after about 20 sheets, I'll top them off because I really don't like it to get any lower than halfway empty, and it just makes a good habit to stay into and keeps your inks working well. You will want to use the printer every couple days. You really don't want to let it sit because the inks do start to clog up. You can maybe go about a week and get away with it, but I really wouldn't try. If you do leave it sit for a week, just do a head cleaning right before you start to print and you'll be good. If you do run into problems, you're going to want to print a purge file instead of a bunch of head cleanings. I'll send a purge file along with this file to like anybody who's purchased a printer from me, or if you just need the purge file or color files, just message me and I'll send them over to you. But this is a great color chart because it gives you a good comparison of how colors can change. A lot of your teals and like greens will print more of like a gray or a blue, and then once you press them and get the heat to them, they completely change colors. So like right now, these right here in this row, these should be like a bright green. So once this is pressed, those will brighten up like insanely. I can't show you right now because I don't have my press on, but in another video I'll press this so that you can see how they change. This is just regular copy paper. You can use that to play around with. I do not recommend it for final sublimation because the quality is a little different. You definitely don't want to use copy paper on hard substrates because that's where you will notice it the most. You can get away with it on fabrics somewhat. They're more forgiving. And that is pretty much it for this setup. I'll do another video that shows like topping off the inks and refilling them and pressing this and a few other things. So hopefully this gets you set up and running. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me.